working on day 4 of solving systems algebraically. The only difference between this day with day 2 and 3 is that these are just word problems now. So we have to set up our system of equations first, and then we can solve them. So I think we've had good work with solving word problems. We've been doing a lot of them in the past few units. So taking a look at number 1. At a quick lunch counter, 6 pretzels and 2 cups of soda cost $5.50. 2 pretzels and 1 cup of soda cost $2. Find the cost of a pretzel and the cost of a cup of soda. Okay, so we know a few things here. We know that we're going to have two unknowns. Okay, we're going to need to find the cost of a pretzel and the cost of a cup of soda. So whether you guys want to use let statements or not, that's totally up to you. Okay, if you can just kind of realize that P stands for pretzel and S stands for soda, then that's good too. So let's set this up. 6 pretzels and 2 cups of soda cost $5.50. Okay, so 6 pretzels. I'm going to set up my system here. So 6 pretzels. I'm going to let P represent pretzels. And 2 cups of soda. So 6P plus 2S costs $5.50. So equals $5.50. Now 2 pretzels and 1 cup. So we want 2P and 1 cup of soda. So just S. There's a 1 here. That costs $2. Find the cost of a pretzel and the cost of a cup of soda. Okay, so now we have our system of equations here, right? We have a system here, and there's one of two ways we could go about it. We could do elimination, or we could do substitution, whatever you guys are comfortable with. I personally like elimination. I just find it's a little bit quicker than getting one of these letters by itself, substituting it back in, and then finding both variables. But if you guys like substitution, that's fine. That's totally fine. I don't mind whichever one you guys use, whatever makes you happy, but you should know how to do both. But if you have a favorite, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to, if I'm doing elimination, I know that I'm trying to eliminate one of my letters. Well, if I look here, I think the easiest letter to get rid of, just by looking at these, would probably be the S here. So I want to multiply this bottom piece by, if you can guess, I'm going to multiply it by -2. So I got to multiply each piece by -2. Because then it's going to become, switch back the colors. Then my bottom piece is going to become -4p. -2 times s is -2s. Then -2 times 2 is -4. Okay. So this became this. And now let's rewrite my other system. I'm going to put this down here because I still need to add my two equations, right? Because I got to get rid of that s. So this equation is 6p plus 2s equals 550. And I'm going to add these two together. Whoops, that's not good. Okay, equals 550. And then add these two together. So 6 plus -4 is 2p. The S's cancel out. And then 550 minus 4, that's 150. Okay. So if I do that division, P would be equal to 75 cents. So P is 0.75. Now, once we find one letter, it makes life super easy. I just need to substitute back in to one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one. Okay, let's just do this one. Still doesn't matter, so I'm going to do 6 times P, which is 0.75, plus 2S equals 550. Okay, I gotta multiply this. 6 times 0.75, I actually don't even know. 6 times 0.75 is gonna be 450. 4.5 plus 2S equals 550. Subtract 4.5 from both sides. Cancels out. So 2S is equal to, what is that, just 1? Yeah, equal to 1. Divide by 2. 1 divided by 2 is 0.50. That's a dollar sign. So there we go. Find the cost of a pretzel. Well, a pretzel is 75 cents. And the cost of a cup of soda. Well, a cup of soda is 50 cents. Okay, good. That was elimination. Okay. Put an E for elimination. Number 2. Your family is planning a 7-day trip to Florida. You estimate that it will cost $275 per day. That's always key. Per day in Tampa and $400 per day in Orlando. Your total budget for the 7 days is $2,300. How many days should you spend in each location? So there's a lot going on in this problem here. It might be a little bit more difficult to see what are our letters and what are they going to represent. Well, again, always look at what the question is asking, okay? How many days should you spend in each location? So I know that my letters are going to represent days. It's just a matter of what days and what exactly the letters stand for. Well, again, we're going to Florida, and then we're spending $275 per day in Tampa, right? We're spending $275 per day in Tampa, and then we're spending $400 per day in Orlando. Okay, so that should tell you what our two letters are going to be. Let's do, it's really up to you. Really up to you what letters we do. I'm going to do T equals days in Tampa. And then I'm going to let R equal days in Orlando because O looks like a 0. Days in Orlando. Okay? So T and R. So let's set up my first system. We're planning a 7-day trip in Florida. Okay, so we're going to spend 7 days in Florida. We just don't know how many days in Tampa and how many in Orlando. So if I want to set up my first equation, it's going to be T plus R equals 7. Because again, T and R represent days in Tampa and in Orlando. I just don't know how many of each. So that's my first system. And now let's use these numbers here. We estimate that it will cost $275 per day in Tampa. Okay, so that's going to be 275T and 400 per day in Orlando. Okay, so that's going to be plus 400R. And altogether, that's going to be $2,300. Okay, so we have our system. In this case, it would probably make sense to not use elimination, but to use substitution because we have t plus r, and it's very easy to get one of these by itself, right? So I'm going to write down here, I'm going to do t plus r equals 7, and let's just get r by itself. So I'm going to subtract t from both sides. All right, so I have r is equal to 7 minus t. Okay, so if r is equal to 7 minus t, now let's substitute that in for r and figure out what t is. So 275t plus 400r, but now we're going to substitute in 7 minus t equals 2300. Okay, let's simplify this up. 275t. I got to distribute here. So 400 times 7. Should be able to do that in our heads. That's just 2800 minus 400t equals 2300. Okay, simplifying this, 275t minus 400t. Let's think, that's going to be negative 125t plus 2800 is equal to 2300. I'm going to subtract 2800 from both sides. Okay, subtract, cancels out. So then I have negative 125t equals negative 500. Yeah. Okay, my last step, I have multiplication, so I want to divide by negative 125t on both sides. So t is equal to 4. T is equal to 4. So I did the hard part. I found out what t is. Now I already know that r is equal to 7 minus t. So r is equal to 7. And we said t was 4. So r is equal to 3. Now, does that answer our question? How many days should we spend in each location? Yeah, we spent 3 days in Orlando, and we spent 4 days in Tampa. Okay? So get down to any work that you need to, or rewind if you need to. Hopefully this is getting easier. Okay, so what method did we just use? We used substitution. There we used substitution. S for substitution. We use elimination for number 1. Number 3, at a bakery, one customer pays $5.67 for 3 bagels and 4 muffins. Okay, I love questions like this because it's straightforward and simple. 3 bagels, 4 muffins cost $5.67. That's such an easy setup. 3b plus 4m equals 567. Another customer pays $6.70 for 5 bagels and 3 muffins. Okay. 5b for bagels, 3m, and he's paying $6.70. How much does a single bagel and a single muffin cost? Okay, so how do I go about doing this? Well, again, it doesn't matter whether we use substitution or elimination. Both will get you the right answer. What do you prefer? What are you comfortable with? That's what it boils down to, unless the region says do it this way. If it doesn't, what are you good with? Well, me, I think I'm better with elimination. Okay? Elimination, I eliminate one of my letters. It saves me some work. So, I'm going to try and eliminate B. Okay? I'm going to try and eliminate B. But I can't just multiply one of these. I can't multiply this by, I don't know, -2 and be able to eliminate it, okay? Because then I'll be left with just b. So I'm going to have to multiply this piece by 3, okay? I'm going to multiply it by -3, actually, because I want the same value, but with a different sign. So if I multiply this by -3, I got to do it to the side too. Okay? Now, if I do -3 times 5b, that's going to give me -15b. I want the same number, but with the opposite sign for b. So it's -15 here. I want this to be +15. So I'm going to multiply everything on this side by 5 and on this side, because that will allow me to cancel out the b's when I do that multiplication. Go back to my pen. So let's do an arrow this way. If I do this multiplication, 5 times 3b is 15b. 5 times 4m is plus 20m. And then 5.67 times 5, that's 28.35 if you don't have your calculator. Okay, so that became that. Now we gotta multiply everything here by -3. So -3 times 5b is -15b. And then -3 times 3m is -9m. -3 times 6.7. That's going to be -20.1. Okay, and then we want to do our addition. We want to add the two up. So this is nice now. That's the whole reason we did that. The b's cancel out. 20 minus 9 is 11m. 28.35 minus 20.10 is 8.25. And now it's a simple division to figure out what is m. So m is equal to 0.75. What does m represent again? It represents muffins. So one muffin costs 75 cents. Okay. Now, we got to figure out how much does a bagel cost. Well, does it matter which one we substitute back into? Nope. So let's just do this one. So 5b plus 3m, what m is now 0.75, we found out, equals 6.7. $6.70. Okay, 5b plus 2.25 equals 670. Okay, and hopefully you guys can solve this now. 5b subtracting 2.25, 4.45, divide by 5, divide by 5. So b is equal to 89 cents. So one bagel is 89 cents, and one muffin is 75 cents. That was a terrible circle. Looks like a roller coaster. Okay. So again, what did I do here? I used elimination. I prefer elimination. Okay, next page. You'll like this one. This one's nice and easy. Lily and Rosie are sisters. The sum of their ages is 19. That is such a nice setup. Let's let L be for Lily. The sum of their ages is 19. Let R be Rosie. And again, the sum of these two is 19. Sweet. And the positive difference of their ages is 9. The positive difference, what's that mean? Let's see. Set up a system of equations involving Lily's age L, Rosie's age R, assuming that Lily is the older child. So if I want a positive difference, in other words, if I take the subtraction of these two, I want it to be positive. Well, if Lily is older, she should go first because she's the bigger number. So L minus R is equal to 9. Now, solve the system to find their ages. If you look, I don't have to do anything. Okay? I can literally just add these up because we have a positive R and a minus R. So if I add those two together, they're going to just cancel out. Right? They're going to just cancel out. So then I have 2L is equal to 28 divided by 2 divided by 2. So L is equal to 14. So that tells me that Lily is 14 years old. Now I want to solve for Rosie. So let's do L plus R equals 19. So L is 14. Subtract by 14. So R is equal to 5. So that's nice. Lily is 14 years old. Rosie is 5 years old. Okay? And then we're going to skip number 5 because it doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. Skip. Okay, and that is the end of day 4.